If you're like me, if you are not actively working towards a new sign up bonus, you begin to get that credit card itch. And in this video, I'm going to be applying for the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited Business Card, as well as go through things such as my credit profile and walk you through applying for your first ever business credit card. Before we get into the card in question, let's talk about my personal credit profile. This is because being a business credit card and from a Chase lender, your credit profile is very important into determining whether you get approved or denied. And at the time of filming this video, my current credit score, depending on which user you check, is a 790 via TransUnion and an 810 via Equifax. So on any given day, depending on which lender you check, I would say between 790 and 810. I have 4 hard inquiries, which is very important, which we'll talk about in the next part of the video. I have 0 derogatory marks, 0 late payments, and at the highest point, the credit utilization is less than 10% across all my credit cards, which is very important in establishing good credit history. Now that we understand my credit profile, let's move on to the card in question, the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited Credit Card. Now, the Chase Inc. credit cards are known notoriously for having some of the best sign-up offers in the entire credit card game, and they mostly come with a $0 annual fee. Now, the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited isn't any different, as it's currently offering an elevated $900 offer when you spend $6,000 in 3 months after activating the credit card. This is kind of traditional with the inks and the spending requirements, but that increased $900 sign up offer is something that I cannot pass up, guys. To better understand the power of this singular sign up offer, if you've seen my previous videos where I talked about my recent trip to Cabo San Lucas, I was able to spend 3 nights at an all-inclusive 5-star Hyatt resort in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, solely on the $750 sign-up offer from the Chase Business Inc. cash variation. So this $900 elevated offer is going to get me either equal or even a more lucrative vacation off of one singular sign-up offer. And the best part is that this credit card is going to get me Chase Ultimate Reward points, where I can kind of accumulate them based on my Chase Sapphire Preferred and combine them if I want to book an even bigger vacation. When we look at the specific multipliers associated with the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited, it's relatively lackluster as it resembles the Chase Freedom Unlimited's 1.5% back on all purchases. So we're not going to get that extra 3x on dining like the other credit cards. It's just a very straightforward 1.5% back on all purchases. Now, the good news of this is that when we're getting that $6,000 to spend, we're going to get an additional $90 worth of Chase Ultimate Reward points from that 1.5x. It's also going to come with things like extended purchase warranty, very similar to things such as the American Express variation credit cards. And you're going to get 5x back on Lyft, but I personally don't use Lyft, guys. So this is just going to be a 1.5% catch-all credit card that I'll be using for the next 3 months. Another aspect of the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited and all Chase Business Inc. credit cards in general is that they are kind of an exception to the 524 rule. I want to put a little asterisk near it because business cards in general, as well as the Chase Business Incs., do not technically occupy one of your Chase 524 spots. As we know, if you are over 5 hard inquiries and credit cards in a 24-month span, you are not eligible for additional Chase credit cards. Now, while I know there are people that have been approved at 824, 924, the rule of thumb is that if you are over Chase 524, you're going to get denied for one of these. So I am currently sitting at Chase 424, meaning that I have achieved 4 credit cards and hard pulls over the last 24 months. So I am going to apply for the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited. I am under Chase 524, so in theory, I should be approved, and it is not going to occupy a Chase 524 spot. So I'm essentially getting a new Inc. credit card that's going to get me $900, but I'm not going to occupy that lucrative Chase 524 spot and have that open for any other credit card that I wish to apply for in my credit card journey. The last thing I want to talk about is kind of the common taboo around business credit cards. And the most common misconceptions about business credit cards is that you need this massive storefront and 50 employees in order to qualify for a business credit card. That is simply untrue. There is a wide variety of things that classify as a business in the eyes of a lender. That can be babysitting on the side that you achieve income, flipping clothing on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, having a tutoring service, flipping furniture on Facebook Marketplace. These are all things that can classify as a business. I file for my business credit cards as a sole proprietorship because I file a 1099 for this secondary source of income. So, in the eyes of a Chase lender, this is a business, which it is. I generate actual income on a yearly basis, and it qualifies me for applying for a business credit card. So, Chase, as well as other lenders, allow you to apply as a sole proprietorship. You do not need a business EIN number. All you need is your personal social security and a secondary source of income aside from your regular traditional job. Now that we've established the ins and outs on why I'm personally applying for this, my credit profile, as well as the taboo behind business credit cards, let's jump into the actual application. Now, funny story, I'm actually pre-approved for this credit card, but for some reason in my actual Chase app, when I click on the link, it gives me the $750 offer. But when I Google Chase Business Inc., it actually gives me the $900 elevated offer. So I'm going to go with that one because I want to make sure I'm getting the $900 worth of Chase points. Now that we've made it onto the actual application page, as you see, the first section of the business credit card application resembles that completely as of a traditional credit card application. All we're going to need to do is fill in our name, our last name, date of birth, as well as a social security number in order to progress into the later portion of the credit card application page. Moving on to the next section, again, resembles that of a traditional credit card application where you're going to have to fill out your home address, contact information, as well as financial information such as your gross annual income. This is the last section that we have to fill out before we move into the business-centric kind of questions that we'll sort out to ensure that you are able to apply for your first business credit card. Now that we've reached the second half of the application, as we can see, the first question regarding which specific business we have is very important because since we do not have a traditional business EIN number, we are going to select sole proprietorship. This means that we are utilizing our own personal social security number and not a business EIN. The next part is arguably the most important part because we are filing as a sole proprietor, which is the business tax ID. Unless you have an actual business EIN number that you have filed, you are going to put that you're filing as a sole proprietor, which means that you can use your social security number. So you're going to type in the same social security number that you use in the demographic section, as well as if there is a address different where you operate. So if you do not have a different address, you're operating under the house that you put on the top, you are going to put yes. So then the business address is the same as your personal address. You're going to plug in things such as the contact information, and then we are going to move on to the financials. Moving into the business financials, guys, it's very important that you are very, very specific as well as don't inflate any other numbers. Because if anything is out of the ordinary, they will put your application on hold and will require you to kind of submit more documentation. So be as truthful, guys. If you are only generating $500 a month, plug that in. You are technically able to apply for a business even before you are generating income. So Chase is one of the lenders that you can put actually $0 of annual business revenue. So for me personally, since I am doing a eBay clothing retailing store, I am able to put the business classification. Again, you're going to have to play around with the categories. There's countless combinations. So I'm personally going under wholesale trade and clothing wholesaler. That is what I'm doing on eBay. So that matches perfectly. If you are a tutor, there's educational services. If you film content online, there are options for that. So play around with the combinations and get the one that kind of goes towards your business the most. You're actually going to put estimated monthly spend. So what do you estimate that you're going to be putting on this credit card for business related expenses? Again, be truthful. Do not inflate any numbers because it will affect the actual application process. Well, guys, all there is left to do is click submit after you fill in those financial questions and what type of business it is. And ideally, as you're going to see from the screen grab that I'm posting on this screen, is that I was approved for the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited. Now, the one drawback for these credit cards, at least in my experience and what I've seen online, is that the credit limits that they usually give you are pretty puny. My Chase Business Inc. Cash had a 4,000 limit, and this one has a 3,000. That doesn't really make any difference to me because I'm not someone that puts these rather large purchases on these Inc. credit cards. So when I make these smaller purchases, I pay them off instantly until I achieve that sign-up bonus. And after I achieve this sign-up bonus, this credit card is honestly just going to go into a drawer because my Chase Freedom Unlimited does the same plus more with the 3x multipliers and things like dining. But guys, if you are applying for your first business credit card, I hope this video helps you out in navigating through your first business application. Or if you're thinking of applying for the Inc. Unlimited elevated offer, I hope it goes just as well for you that it did for me. But guys, that concludes this video, and I hope if you stayed here this long, I hope you do drop a subscribe because it does directly support my channel. And if you want other Chase related content, I got another video right here for you guys.